I just wanted to talk today about tips that unmasked the narcissist for me early on. Early on, before my actual realization, about halfway through the relationship, the shit I began to notice, the dots I began to connect in order to figure out what the fuck, what is going on with this motherfucker? I've never seen something like this in my life. Okay, so I'm going to go over these dots. Initially, obviously, my intuition going off, the red flags, the black hole. I don't know if you've seen the other video, but that's what I saw his soul as, a black hole. Problem number one. The next thing I noticed was whenever he was stressed or hungry, his personality changed. I don't mean just low blood sugar. I don't mean his vocabulary. I mean his voice tone changed. He almost became like a different. His facial, the way he moved, his facial muscles around changed. It was the fucking mask starting to slide off. That was another. I didn't catch it though, but I made a note. Believe me, every single fucking thing I made a scribble, which is the only way I got out a little bit later. And number three, all his ex-girlfriends. You all know this one. He was, banging them all with all this shit. He was as yet to do to me. I wasn't giving him a lot of pity over it. I was just like, more information. Okay, yeah, we'll hear that. Yeah, I didn't chime in with that too much. I did start noticing very soon after that some of the behavior. Guys, I'm thinking not every one of these chicks can be wrong. It's just not possible. There seems to be a common denominator here, and it's not them. So, a lot of these, remember now, narcs lie. They lie spectacularly, and also this particular one was an actor, a Hollywood actor, a B actor, but an actor nonetheless. So their lying is real good. And so I had to keep track of all this shit in my head that was going on, that he had said, that he had done, all his movements and stuff, and start trying to figure out, what part was the truth and what part was a lie. And the way to do that was to see, you all know what was consistent and what was inconsistent in his story. And so early on, I started noticing things standing out that were inconsistent. I'm like, wait a minute, didn't you say this, but this? You said that, but this. So I was starting to get a grip on when the motherfucker was lying and when he was more than likely a higher probability telling the truth. So that leads me into the other thing that happened. We were having some sexual conquest. This was, by the way, a covert somatic narcissist. I don't know if somatic means body. So I don't know if you're familiar with that, but there's a lot of sexual issues going on with that. So we were having our little sexual conquest conversations. I've got a rather interesting past, which intrigued him and made him feel comfortable enough, I believe, to open up to me a little bit more. And one of the things he said, this was not that far in. This was after the love bombing. He said in a real quiet, smirky tone, I'll tell you all of my secrets one of these days. I'm going to tell you all of them. I'm going to tell you all of my secrets one of these days. All of them. And I thought, isn't that what we're doing right now? There's more? I mean, I have more too, but not like to the depth and tone of what you're describing. It's quite sinister. I mean, the shit I was describing wasn't, wallflower stuff. I mean, it was pretty bad. His was pretty bad, but he was talking even worse. And I had a couple worse things, but anyway. Okay, so I had noticed also, his smirks. I noticed the smirks, and I always thought that was weird, I had noticed that. Another piece of evidence that I was noticing early on was his head turns. He didn't think I was watching him peripherally, but I was watching every fucking motherfucking move this dude was making. Because he's fascinated me. It fascinated me. Something was wrong with him, and I knew it. Had to figure it out. And one of the things that was most telling was his head turns when he didn't think I was looking. And whenever I would say something confessional, of course I'm saying the truth most of the time. There was a few lies to mislead him, but most of the time I'm saying the truth. One of these things was, my mother died, and because of my fantastic childhood, when she died, I didn't, I'm sorry, I didn't fucking miss her. I didn't fucking miss her. I was kind of happy, I wasn't happy. I grieved, I had grief. But it took me a year to get over the guilt. And I remember when I told him that, when I said, yeah, it took me, we weren't face to face at that point. So it took me a year to get over the guilt. And I remember he turned like he was registering that. I could almost hear a giant check mark going down in a book. Like, he took major note of that. There was one other incident when I said something in regards to sex, since we're covering that a little bit. I don't want to go too much into that, but I also said something post bedroom, like, not like, exactly. I said, you really want to get me going? Again, we weren't facing. I said, you really want to get me going? Tell me no. And again, he was like, you know, I'm another check he could do that. And I was like, God, why is he so fucking clipping on his heels like that so fast, making a note of that? Because he never moves that fast. He moves slow and plodding because he's fucking, you know, Machiavellian, you know, figuring out maneuvers and shit. Which lie to which girl, to which fucking story, to which fable, to which mask. Oh my God, he's got to keep track of all that in his head. So of course they're going to fuck up. I'm not doing all that, so I'm paying 100% attention to him. So, yeah, so I started noticing these things. The very last thing, oh, there's two more. Also, he told me in the 16 years that I hadn't seen him, as you know, we were friends, and then he hoovered me, I guess. We hadn't, you know. Anyways, he told me that in the interim of that time, he had, and I believed him on this, because by this point I was really starting to get a grip on when he was, his tone of, when he was lying and when he wasn't, or when he was embellishing, or when he was outright lying, or there was a much, much higher probability that he was telling the truth. That he ran over and killed a homeless person by accident. That he had his nurse girlfriend at the time was riding with him in the car, which that lined up with all the history notes I had taken about this nurse girlfriend for, I think it was a year and 2 months. Of course, a nurse would be perfect, wouldn't it, for a narcy? That fits in perfectly. So, yeah, it was the truth. Anyway, so he said he was driving, it was night, and this homeless person, he didn't even see him. He blucked in front of his car, and he fucking ran the gentleman over and fucking killed him. He's telling me this story, and I'm like, this was almost, I was getting down to the last nail in the coffin here with my research going on the side. He had absolutely no facial change, no tone, no remorse, no, not even like, I'm tired. It wasn't based on, I'm tired of telling the story. I've told it so long in therapy, and that's me. I have that. You can see me getting irritated. My God, how many times have I talked about this? That's not how how he told me this story about killing a fucking homeless man, driving him. It was ruled an accident because the guy just showed up in his car, but he fucking, you know, he killed someone. It's like, you know, it's really making me think, doing this video, it's like, well, have you killed somebody else, you know? I mean, I know you were trying to kill me spiritually, but that really got me going. And then the very last nail in the coffin, this is fantastic. I saved the best for last. Thank you for staying with me. Please hit the like button, subscribe. Is that he told me, and he had told me this 16 years ago. He had forgotten he had told me this, and he only gave me the basic outline. His mother accidentally killed his father. That lined up with history. It lined up with all of the other, you know, parameters that I was lying. It was the truth. It was the fucking truth. There were too many proofs surrounding this tale regarding his family that I knew about. And when he retold me that, that, you know, they're both alcoholic parents, and apparently there was an involvement with a car, and it was an accident, and ruled an accident. But when he was retelling me this story, again, the same fucking thing. No empathy. No shift. No dramatic shift. Not even a medium dramatic shift in his tone, in his facial muscle movement at all. I mean, and I was, again, just, you know, being an empath, you know, trying to just, you know, give me more fucking shit, man, because I got to figure this dude out. I was trying to be, you know, real, you know, I'm, of course, protecting myself as I obviously not enough. No one can. But maybe another narc, but, I knew his mother was still living, and I said, well, how are you guys doing with that situation now as far as your relationship? And he said, with the same mask on, with the same no fucking change in facial motion or tone, body change, nothing. He said, we're working on it. And I'm like, are you a fucking puppet? I mean, is there a hand behind your head, like, saying these saying these things that are like really motherfucking serious issues that I know he's in therapy. He's a fucking therapist, as you guys already know. We're working on it. Robots Anonymous. That's where he needs to go. Everybody stay strong out there. Anyway, those were my clues that led me up to midway through the relationship after paying very close attention and doing a lot of research. I got halfway through the relationship, I'm like, motherfucker, this guy is a motherfucking narcissist. NPD. Not he has a narcissistic asshole. No, he's got a disorder. He follows a playbook, you know. And there's a 7-year-old in there, you know. And it's one of these days I'll say I feel sorry, but today's not the day. Everybody be real strong out there.